Hello, everybody. Welcome to All Villa, No Filler. Please remember to like and subscribe. Subscribe if you hate the Blues. That could be a chant, couldn't it? Subscribe if you hate the Blues. Anyway, still buzzing from Ollie Watkins, sending England through to the final of the Euros. A phenomenal goal from a phenomenal world-class striker. But in the world of Aston Villa, what's actually happening here right now is that it has been reported exclusively by Neil Moxley in the Mirror, following up on a variety of rumours this week, that Jaden Philogene will be returning to Aston Villa as soon as next week from Hull City. And following on from Neil Moxley's report in the Mirror, Fabrizio Romano has said that Philogene will be back after Aston Villa activated matching rights earlier this week. Deal worth 13 million quid. As Villa had a 30% sell-on clause included in the agreement. 5-year deal. Emery wanted him back. Well, I talked about it the other day. Uh, fascinating return. I think he got 12 goals last season, or yeah, 12 goals last season. Significant number of assists. That Rabona goal as well obviously sticks out. But he's a incredibly talented young player. I thought last year when he left Villa for 5 million, more on that in a sec. I thought it was firstly quite a low price. I was quite surprised by that, given the fact he literally just featured against Newcastle as well on the first day of the season. But in pre-season, he really looked like a player that Unai Emery had a lot of faith in. He was being featured a lot. He was playing kind of as a hybrid, kind of in the sort of Jacob Ramsey role on the left, but also as a sort of wing back as well at times, and tended to cling to the touchline. So uh, I think that him coming back offers a few different things. One, he's one of the top young players in the Championship last season. Two, he knows Unai Emery. Unai Emery knows him, so it's not really much of a gamble. And he can offer something a little bit quite a bit more versatile in the sense of he could be back up for Leon Bailey. We're going to have a lot of games next season. We're going to need to, you know, uh, rest players at times, and Leon Bailey is a fantastic prime attacking player for us. I think that Philogene being able to come in and be somebody who has, a huge amount of skills in the way that Bailey does is very, very helpful indeed. He can also act as a second striker, I guess. So he can also play on the right. He's played there for Hull this season. The Rabona goal he got against Rotherham away was also from the right-hand side of the pitch. That said, he does tend to play on the left. Now, he's a bit more of somebody who clings to the touchline, I think, more than a more central player, as Morgan Rogers and Jacob Ramsey is. So if you think of Leon Bailey as someone who clings to the right, what Villa don't have at present really is a sort of left-sided player who can cling to the left, and therefore, if Villa want to switch things up and have Leon Bailey, come out the team for whatever reason, and therefore maybe focus more our attacks down the left by having a left winger staying out there, or maybe they want Bailey and Philogene both playing, and the two of them stretching the play a bit more. Well, then that comes in as an option. It just means Villa can go a little bit more down the left. It's just a new approach, and also it raises the question: what does it mean for Eiling Junior? Where does he fit in? I'm fascinated to see what Professor Unai has in store for him. And also, are Villa potentially going to do a back three? I talked about this with Neil Dunworth from For the Love of Paul Maguire earlier this week. Could it be three centre backs essentially, and then maybe as left wing backs, you got players like Eiling Junior, Jaden Philogene could even do that, but obviously Ian Maatsen will be the starting one. And then, but I guess for Villa and for Unai Emery as well, versatility is the order of the day. Players who can play in a variety of functions. I think that's what he's always liked wherever he's been at Villarreal. I particularly think about that. But a variety of functions in the sense of, let's say Eiling Junior, he can play sort of left wing back, but he can also play left wing. And I think he can probably play on the right as well. You got Leon Bailey. He can be a second striker, but he's strongest on the right, isn't he? Morgan Rogers, he plays that that sort of left central role, but he can also play, I think, as the second striker. But I think he has all the attributes as well to potentially even fill the gap that Jean Duran might leave if he goes to West Ham or Chelsea or wherever. Because I think that what Morgan Rogers has the physical attributes to potentially become the heir to Watkins, to be a striker one day. Maybe that's something we'll see. Not saying it will happen, but it's something that I think I could envision happening one day in future. Now, as for Philogene, the five million we sold him for last season, as I say, I thought it was surprising, just given the fact that he'd been such a big feature in pre-season. Unai Emery clearly rated him enough to play him a lot, and he also got into the team against Newcastle as a substitute. He came on, so 5 million now. In hindsight, seeing what the deal actually was, it's nice to have very canny operators at Aston Villa, isn't it? It beats having Dr. Tony Gia there tweeting away weird little things, probably atting Disney and telling them how much he loves, I don't know, Princess Jasmine in Aladdin. I haven't got a clue. Just weird people running the club that didn't really feel like they were doing a great job. Uh, Randy Lerner spent loads and loads and loads of money until the tap stopped. And then we just went into a permanent decline for years and years. Now it feels like we have canny operators, people who do deals that make sense. It's not signing Danny Ings as a bit of a Hollywood signing, even though he's probably at his peak or past his peak and has very little resale value and is on big wages. It's not making those kind of signings anymore that we did in that Gerrard year. It's more players like Costa Nedeljkovic. Not a lot of money comes in. Champions League experience, has a potentially high ceiling. If he reaches the level that the scouts and the scouting department, Monchi and all the people who've watched him with the eye test think he can get to, well, then one day you could potentially resell him for a lot of money, big profits. And on top of that, if it doesn't work, it's not a big loss, is it? So Philogene coming back in for 13 million because we get 30% off because Ipswich bid 18 million for him. We matched it. It's we have canny operators, and ultimately 30 million spread over 5 years is nothing. Five into 13, 2 point something, 2.3, whatever it is. And so essentially we made a profit. Sold him for 5 million, and over this year spending 2.3, whatever it is on him. I know what they're doing, don't they? Monchi and his team. And yes, I'm excited to see him back. Morgan Rogers last season came up from the Championship, same age as Philogene or there or thereabouts. Not a player that you would have thought, oh, he's going to stick out and do something. He's come in and he's been an absolutely sensational signing so far, I would say, with a high ceiling. And so Philogene, with his record last year, he's got 2 exceptional years of experience from Cardiff, Hull, physical leagues, tough leagues, great grounding. 22, comes in now, back to Aston Villa, to a club he knows well. Unai Emery knows him well, with a lot of versatility, with a lot of confidence coming in. Yes, he'll likely be a squad player at first, but who's to say that he might not, show what is that he can reach a level that maybe we didn't even expect. And his numbers last season for Hull were pretty excellent, to be honest. And he played for a good manager in Rossini as well. So I think a lot to be excited about by Jaden coming back in. Welcome home. I'm happy to see it. And obviously Cameron Archer's back as well. £7 million we paid for him. 80 million we originally sold him for. Again, canny operators. We'll see what happens there. I don't really know whether he's going to stick about. I think there'll be a lot of clubs who are interested in Cameron Archer because don't write him off after one season. He was at a rubbish football club. I love Sheffield United. I went up there, went to uni there. So, one of them clubs I like to keep an eye out for and like to see do well. But quite frankly, they were an embarrassment last season. They were terribly run. They sold all the best players. What do you think is going to happen? Cameron Archer comes into a club that I think probably didn't play the style of football that suits him, a club that's just on a downward trajectory. So you can't write him off after one kind of, pretty average season there. And the Sheffield United fans I've spoken to actually did rate him, just didn't think the style of football Chris Wilder ball really suited him. So, no, Archer's back. We'll see how he does. And potentially, there might be another club out there who gives him the chance for him to shine and show what he's actually all about. Musa Diaby talk. I don't want to get too deep into that because I don't really know the legitimacy of all that just yet. So that's something that I think we'll save for another day. Anyway, let me know what you think. Please like, subscribe. Welcome home, Jaden Philogene. I'll give you a big old hug, but you probably just, run away in fear of who is this weird man walking towards me. Up the mighty Villa.